because remember I was a writer now and I understood content, and I think what I learned at Real Media is how to get touch points, how to convert that into connecting with the audience. So what eventually happened is on one of those meetings, so I used to go regularly, I meet Kevin Muley. His company called Mo Sound, and no clue who. So I know me, I just know Kev. So at this time I don't even know the behemoth Mo Sound has become. So we chat, and in the meeting, I give my opinion. And then as Safaricom say, yep, whatever Julian said, go make those changes. Hey, so Kev calls me, asks me, when you work at Safaricom? Tell him, no, me work at Real Media. So we start catching up. We have a coffee, and we start to rewrite, because it's been years since we saw each other. So he starts telling me what he's doing. More sound, we talk and talk and talk. Eventually says, at some point, he calls me and says, yo, it would be nice to see what we can do. So he invites me over to More Sound, and I'm like, damn, this is a company. And I didn't know what, I had no clue what because at Real Media, we used to do our own events. We had our own roadshow tracks, we had our own PA, we were self-service. So me, I was like in another bubble. You get?
Hold on.
Our
Real Media, there was no subcontracting?
Very rarely. As we owned our entire end-to-end.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we were doing big things.
SK, please come
and
to
we'll
the
do
house.
events, we would do events at Afraha Stadium, Feel It, Nakuru Stadium. So we were still doing the largest gigs. So I didn't know anything happening in this other space of that. So I went. So Kev gave me an opportunity and said, let's do this. And I was thinking, wow, this is a new challenge. Now, just to flash back, remember I told you about Franco I met when I'm about 16, trying to find out about studios. Franco eventually left Musicland, formed a company called FM Squared, an audio company. So I used to do, part of my freelancing on weekends was to do live events. So I understood live format.
So basically sound engineering.
Sound engineering, because what happened, an artist, I do their song, they tell me when I'm performing, please come. Because these guys do not understand. So that's how I started getting involved in sound. Then you know me, I understood the tech side. So I could rig the mixer, I knew what I was doing. So by the time Kev was calling me at Mo Sound, it was not such a stretch, because now it was a combination. They are doing live events, but their clients are the same clients at Real Media, because it's still Safaricom doing an event, Coca-Cola. So it was quite a natural transition. So I went there, I got to meet amazing people.
So hold on, so hey bro, you can't just, so you go and tell...
Yeah, so I go resign. And I just told them that I just need to leave, because I was telling them, I felt like my brain was atrophizing. I felt I was growing old. You know, you're a civil servant now. And I said, this is not right. I'm saying I'm still young. I need to see the world. And I think one of the other things I was always concerned, and it's something I've always had a sense of, I was saying maybe I'm big in this fishbowl. How good am I out there? So also one of the things I wanted, and Real Media are gracious, they always told me, you're always welcome back if you ever want to come back into the game. And I said, I need to go and discover what I want for my life, because now I'm older, now I've already got my first son now.
Hold on, so even anyway, we'll come into relationship. So you got married along
So I've
this
already
way.
been married. I got married 2009. So this is 2013 when I'm leaving Real Media. In fact, I already have a son. I think we're even pregnant with my second child at this time. So there's that sense of like, something has to change. I'm just thinking it can't be this. And then a part of me is looking at the older guys in the company. I'm saying, as in, then 40 years I'll be given that handshake, a shield. I said no. And remember me, I'm the guy. In fact, everyone used to be shocked. They say, you're still at Citizen. Let me tell you, before Citizen, there's no way I'd never worked. I even had a short stint at Nation for like a month or two.
What do you mean?
In the radio. I remember I used to go to Nation to do something. I don't remember what it was.
You've been...
Yeah. I think the only place I have not done anything formal is Radio Africa, in terms of the larger media houses, and Standard Group, of course, because at the time they only had print and KTN before they did their radio. So I just went and told them, guys, it's not personal, but I just feel, in fact, for me, what I wanted to know is I wanted to go out into the market, first see how good am I, because Real Media was just a unicorn. It's like working at Apple and you're a coder. You think you're the best. So I said, let me go out there, let me see how good, let me go to a new industry. Let me see if I can still do it. If I fall flat, at least these guys have given me a lifeline. You're welcome. So I resigned, handed over nicely, and I left at peace. Went to Mo Sound.
Were you you know, now it's different, because now you're not with your sisters. You see,
now I live on my own. I'm married.
Perspective.
I actually took I took a pay cut to go to Mo Sound. I took a pay cut.
That's how much it was killing your soul, in a sense.
Actually, that's what it was. I was very, and even my boss Fred Afune, he knew. You can just tell, it's okay, just take a break, because it's been 11 years now. and I'm feeling something has to change. And Mo Sound reminded me of Royal Media. They were just at the cusp of, they were starting to take over the big events, and the vibe. And I got to meet Kavutha.
So where did you enter Mo Sound as?
GM. Entered there as a general manager. And what Kevin wanted also was support in terms of the admin and business side, because that's what I'd been doing. Because he had more of creatives and brilliant event managers, but now someone to do more of the commercial client side relationship. So that's what I went in to do. But when I was there, I found myself, I was working very long hours, because the events business, you do the proposal, you do meetings throughout the day. In the evening, client wants you on the ground, or they want you to come for setup. So I was having extremely long days. I have a young family, weekends I'm working. It was just, it was really chaotic at the time. I'm still working on the XYZ show, which airs weekly at the time. We are full in season. So I was in for about 1 or 2 years, a very intense period.
Oh, that long?
Yeah. I mean, XYZ now we are going to, I think, season 15. We've done about 15 seasons now. So there was just a lot going on in my life at the time. A lot in terms of work related. I was doing too many, so I'd say I'd beaten more than I chew. I still had a studio. I remember I'm running. So I was just all over the place, overstretched. But now Mo Sound pushed me to the limit physically. So I'm very resilient mentally. And I always tell people I'm not a disc jockey, I'm a desk jockey. So me, when I sit, I can output work like I can go for hours. But now with events, I hate movement. I'm horrible at traveling. That's why I told you I got my first car when I was 27. My luxury when I can afford is I'll get a driver. I actually do not even enjoy driving. If I could teleport, I'll be the first one to sign up.
Even the Beamer.
Yeah, until I get a Range, maybe I'll enjoy driving. But I generally don't like, I'm happy. I'm the kind of person I get in the morning at 8, see you at 5. But what I'll do in a day, but this movement, it's never been my thing. Send me photos. I mean, that's the kind of person I am. So eventually, I'm at Mo Sound, I'm working there, but it's pulling a strain on me. And then I'm beginning to wonder, hey, was I sure about, because Mo Sound, remember, at the time is the largest events company in the country, probably the region, actually, East Africa. So the gigs are multiple, the operations, the logistics, it was a strain. And then I felt really out of my zone. Then at some point, Gado calls me and introduces me to a guy called Rob Burnett. So Rob Burnett is a founder of a company called, at the time they were called Well Told Story. They published the Shujaz comic, the one that's put in the Nation and stuff. So he introduces me to Rob. But I've been talking to Rob on the phone and email over the past few years about media. He'd call me, we just have open-ended convos about media. How is the landscape changing? So Rob calls me and tells me he wants to refresh his media and do new stuff, because he's doing more behavior change media. So I go there and I spend about a week with him, and then I find my love, and I realize actually I'm a media person. And they are doing TV, they are doing social media, they are doing radio, they are doing outreach, and I'm just thinking, my God, this is what I do. I create content, I create concepts. So I do for him a study on his business and what's going on, and then I give him a report. He reads the report and he says, Julian, what you're saying is such interesting stuff, so you come help us implement. And at this time now I'm thinking, hey, Mo Sound things are not working. So I just tell Kev, bro, yeah, I've tried. You know I've tried. So I tell him, release me. I think at least I've learned what I wanted to know. I've got a sense. And also another reason that took me to Mo Sound, when I was leaving Royal Media, a lot of money was shifting to experiential. And I was saying, what is this thing? What's this thing called below the line? Then I'm told Mo Sound are leading. So I said, I think that's the new. So that's why I went to Mo Sound. So I wanted to understand what's this thing threatening? Because we'd go for meetings, our client tells you our budget is 100 million, 20 million for media, 80 for experiential. I'm saying, huh? And before it was always, experiential was always flyers. Now it was becoming an industry. So when I went to Mo Sound, now they're like, whoa, serious business. I mean, planning, they make clothes, hire gigs. It's a whole, you know, not beyond just our road shows and our theme lights. Them, they are doing more sophisticated stuff. So eventually, I left there, went to Shujaz, and at Shujaz I was head of media, and that was an exciting time. Now, for the first time, I was doing media with a mission. See, before media was just entertain, get ratings, sell to the advertiser. Now, you're doing content and media that is about people's lives, that is about stories that matter, and then it's donor funded. So this was a whole shift. And
so you got employed then at Shujaz?
Yeah, I was full-time at Shujaz. It was a desk job. So I was able to calm down again. And I was also able to put on my thinking hat, which I think I enjoy the most. And so I was there for about 3 years, and it was an amazing experience. And then Shujaz is one of those companies in terms of systems, structures, processes. It's cutting edge. The stuff we used to do, operations, HR, doing things around metrics, performance, KPIs. So it was the first time, because Royal Media were just gut feeling and kifua and hunches, but we go to number one by hook or crook. Now Shujaz was scientific, data driven, and it's the first time I was exposed to this whole world. So that was exciting because I was learning again. And then there are real problems to be solved. Young people, substance abuse, young people are not using contraception. Now there's no advert, right? It's not an advert problem. Now you are starting to understand the role of research, understanding human behavior, understanding how you create communication now. So now I think I should just, then we also do some events. I mean, so everything, and my life has just been everything I've ever done.
Yeah, nothing is wasted.
Yeah, and I've always said it doesn't matter. I'm always shocked how I'm in a meeting or in a situation in my work life and someone asks a question and I say, oh, by the way, long ago I used to do, and it's so random. And people are saying, what? You did what? And that has been my life. So I always also encourage people that wherever life leads you, you just dive in. You either will come out from that space with a relationship, a contact, or an unusual skill, which you'll never know where you're going to end up applying it, you see. And that's how pretty much my life has been.
Okay.
And, I mean, then there's tons of other projects I've done here.
Of course, yeah. Because me, I connected with you during again, so Africa, which I'm sure was through Joy Washira, because of Mo Sound.
Because of Mo Sound.
That was insane.
Now? Yeah.
Okay, so what are you up to now? Let's come to
so right today, now, so after Shujaz, I got to a point where I felt, okay, I think I've been working now for, I mean, like I said, I started working 2 weeks after Form 4. And I've been working ever since, And I think I've always thrived when I'm working on multiple things at a go. That's when I'm at my prime, because you'll find when I have a meeting with you on this project, tomorrow I'm thinking of something to do with an environmental, tomorrow we're trying to come up with a concept for a campaign. My brain is, that's when I'm most alive. And of course that would be difficult if you're fully employed. So I said, you know what, let me take a chance and let me see how this consulting world is, because throughout my life, even at Shujaz, I was always doing training for people. In fact, I was saying, I think I've only traveled out of Kenya once on my own account. I've visited tons of countries, always professionally. So it's been very, very unusual, And I just want to give you a case in point. There's a project I did while I was at Shujaz around counterterrorism and radicalization. And it was a very interesting project, but for some reason, I really spent time on it. Now, the organization I was working with, the donor, they're called Hans Seidel Foundation, I really got deep into that project. So understanding what impacts young people, how Al-Shabaab recruits them, that whole ecosystem of counterterrorism and radicalization. And I did that project, and it was a short project, we did it and it was nice, but I really made connections. But now that one project alone, which I had a very light hand in, incidentally, all I did was when they would call for a meeting, could you please come and talk about it? Yeah, sure, I'll come. Or there's these people, could you come tell us more about it? Yeah, me, I'm down, I'll come. That project has taken me, I think, to 5 countries alone because of that. And last year, I ended up doing a project with the National Counterterrorism Center in Kenya.
What?
And who knows, now I'm becoming a guy for comms for radicalization. I mean, it's so, and that's what I'm saying, that's how my life has been. So I can be in a space and people are talking about a subject and then I tell them, oh, let me tell you what's happening in that space. And I've always been that kind of person. I have such wide and broad interests. So what I did is, there are various things I've been wanting to pursue in my life. And there was that thing I just said, look, I'm not getting any younger. I still have some energy, I think. My kids are not too old now. I have a 9 and 6 years old. And I said, yeah, when they are teenagers, maybe I'll need to be more available. So I said, anyway, let me try some of these experimenting things. If it doesn't work out, I'll just look for a job, a full-time gig or whatever. But I started getting to a point saying where I want to make sure any project I do is something I'm invested in, something I'm interested in. And then when as a consultant, I can do anything. There's no rules in terms of like, I can only do this thing. So my core work is mainly around strategy and communications. And what I try to do is the businesses I focus on, I try to bring the business side of creativity. So I'm drawn to people in any creative field, and I help them understanding how the business side. So I've done projects with fashion designers, I've done projects with filmmakers, animators, illustrators, musicians, and helping them learn. So you have talent, but that's one piece. Now, the world, this is how the world works. This is how money is made. Because you have to sustain your craft. Kenya, Africa, we don't have economies like the US. If you have talent, the infrastructure takes care of that. Here you have to do it end to end. Then I love working with civil society. So I tend to say I work with any organization that works with people. Anyone that has to impact people or change. So I'm not drawn to hardcore business where it's just about that. I've been engaged, I've developed about 4 apps for clients. So people call me and just say, I want to create a product. Do you understand humans? Yeah. And now, because of that, I'll help doing the frameworks, the UI, the UX. So now, some people know me as a UX expert and UI. Yet I've never done a single day in development or coding. But the thing is, at the core, if you want people to use the product, and I think it's all my life years of developing products from concept down to the people on the ground. Do they want to use it? Do they like it? So what I did is, it was a very scary process. So I had a chat with my wife, Modoni, and I told her, look, me, I want to try to do freelancing. So I'd been saving. So I'd saved enough for a year to cover our costs for 1 year. So I told her, fortunately, she's also working. So I told her, look, just give me 1 year. I have enough for us. In short, if I don't make a coin in a year, I'll be fine. And also a part of me had been saying, I've been consulting companies for years. It's time for me to take, I mean, I used to go to companies, tell them how to make their strategies, how to improve sales, but I'd never run a company, a business. I'd never sold myself. I'd never done my own deals because I was always called, hey, come through. So someone would win the business, call me to implement. But I'd never done from initiation, you know, cold call, send a cold email to a client. So I said, let me try, let's see how it feels. And a part of me was like, also I think after years of working, you're interacting with a lot of business leaders, and a point comes at saying, I think I can also, maybe I should stop being afraid. So I gave him, I mean, I've always been a cautious person. So I saved, I had enough to cover me for a year. That was my buffer. Because I knew worst case scenario, I'll go call Fred Afune and tell SK, Yanko, Tafadhali, things are bad. I still have some skills, So I took the plunge. Then I made some commitments to myself. It was not easy. You're working from home. In the morning, everybody leaves the house. You're alone. You're the man. There are cultural nuances you must provide. But I made some rules. I said I won't watch TV during the day. Till today, I can't watch TV unless it's weekend. I just have a rule. I sit at my computer and figure out. I'd rather keep browsing LinkedIn and doing other things. And what I did is, the first thing I did, I pulled out my phone, wrote down all the numbers of anyone I know, and I just started calling people, saying, hey, Richard, long time. Oh, I want to let me know now freelance. You can call me anytime you want. One by one, one by one, one by one. In about a month, I got my first contract. So I was like, no way, this thing works.
Add another month to that year.
Exactly. Yeah, and so far it's been 4 years.
4 years?
4 years now, still going strong. It's been an amazing experience. I've done things and been in spaces that I never thought I would have been. And it's one of those things, a part of me wishes I started earlier. Because I think I was more afraid of what was there. But what I would say
but also the experience.
And I think I would say there's a reality of I prepared for it. So I would say I didn't go into consulting in a half. I didn't say I'm tired of bosses. No, that was not the driving force. I just wanted to know, can this thing be done? Can I do it also? And I think also I wanted to know, am I a career employee? Is that my best? And if it were, well and good. I would just keep at it. And actually, I've never even ruled it out. I've always said, if I got an exciting project that required me to focus 2-3 years, I'm sure I can get into it. But it needs to be something that will be so engaging, so rewarding, and not even from the money side. In fact, a point came, even career-wise, I was not too crazy about the money. I started learning later because I've been very lucky. I made good money when I was very young, and I did great things. So I think I've been privileged. I've been very lucky in my life. But now also money started losing some. I started realizing, okay, after a while, I think I was giving you a funny joke earlier. There's a time, because my dad never used to buy me sneakers. So when I got money, I bought sneakers. I was that guy. All the colorways, all the variants. But the day I realized it's a problem is when I bought a pair of sneakers I saw that I really liked. Then when I went home, I had the same pair, which I'd never put on. That's when I said, okay, there's a problem. Yeah, so I gave away my sneakers. I simplified. Now I'm quite a minimalist. I just keep what I buy, what I need when I need and stuff. And just, I guess, also maturity, life, it starts changing you. So now another career, there's a design piece and everything. And one of the early, when I was in high school, I actually wanted to do architecture for a long time. But my school didn't have technical drawing. There were issues, so I couldn't do it. And I kind of killed that. I spent some time going to School of Architecture. The bar to enter was very high. But I've never lost that passion. So I've always bought books on design. I've always bought books on interiors, watched every TV show in the world. So me, that's my best pastime, watching renovation shows, house hunters, whatever you call them, grand design. So that's something now, because I have some bandwidth, it's something I've started now actively taking. So I started doing, so I'm the kind of person who, and this was planted by my dad. When we were kids, main weekend entertainment, we used to drive around premium suburbs in Nairobi and look at houses. That's something we always did growing up. So I knew I always had something with the built environment. And I've always had an eye for design, whatever it is. Even when I'm doing music sound, there's an extra thing I always do. So I've kind of been cultivating the artistic side of me now. So I started with doing a simple architecture course, a certificate course. Now I'm doing a diploma in interior design. Yeah, and I really want to go deep into it. So my grand plan is
interior design.
Yeah, interior design, architecture. So what I've started doing is I've spoken to a few companies. I want to start interning. So I'll still continue my consulting, but even if I can spend a few hours a week in an architectural firm, I think it's going to do something for me. It's going to do something for my spirit, my soul. So also what I've learned over time is
interning. Yeah, the words that you're using.
Yeah, I'm going to go start interning. So there's someone, in fact, I'm waiting to get a clearance, a development company who are doing a lot of projects. So that's the space I need to be. I need to be somewhere where they're doing mega projects, you know, because I want to start learning the bones of construction, because I may never go into it full time. But it's what I've started learning also over time. And it's interesting. There's one time Bruce Odhiambo, one of the last proper conversations we had, he asked me why I stopped music. And I gave him a whole spiel. There's no money, there's no business. What's the point? Haggling with artists, I can't keep up. And he said, Julian, some things you don't do for yourself, you do for the world. So I've never forgotten that statement. And I really thought about it for many months. And I still will go back to music. I haven't figured it out how. In fact, I've been talking to Musyoka. I know I want to do a project. And I know I want to do a compilation project. I don't know how it's formed, but I just want to do a nice project and do it without pressure and just create something magical. And not because we want to sell it, just create something amazing. But right now, I know deep into the built world. That's what's really exciting me. And what I want to do, I want to intern. I don't know where it will go. If it can lead into a full vocation, I'm excited. And if 10 years, I feel I'm done. But one thing I'm learning, and there's something I learned because I attended at the South Africa event with TDJX, and he gave his story how he's done 20, 30 things. And he said, you do them all, then go eliminating. So don't settle on one line. If you're a cameraman, but you're also brilliant in sewing, doesn't mean that sewing, film work, just do. You might be the guy who makes a reality show competition about sewing, and then you start bringing everything together. And so for me, that's how I'm trying to live my life now. Any interest I have, I'm also pushing myself to take it from beyond hobby, because I know now that I'm doing a diploma, now I'll have something. And once I have a diploma, there's nowhere I'll sit. I'm bound to tell someone, I'd like to come work part-time. You can pay me bus fare, it's fine. But for me, it's not about the job. Because once I learn what I know to do, somehow I'm going to do something.
You're going to apply that thing.
And for me, that's the piece. I've been wanting to do something in the music space. I may not be active. So right now, the biggest outlet for me musically had been with the XYZ show, because still doing the remixes. But now they've got an even better team, and now with my career and stuff. So I know I want to do something. I just don't know what yet. But I know I need an outlet to express the musical side as well, either as an engineer or as a producer.
This city is my expression of that musical outlet.
Yeah,
you get what I mean?
Oh yes, exactly. For you. Yeah, like you, how you just kind of exactly.
Because I've got me. I hate the desk job. Gotten the desk job, and not hate it. The word is sometimes sitting behind the desk makes you not express this creative side.
Absolutely.
You get in this form. Yeah. So in fact, when you've spoken there, I'm just like, amen. I know. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
We are coming to an end of this conversation. First of all, Yanni, dude, your journey has been so. The lessons in this thing. First of all, something small like read the manual. You know what I mean? Yeah. That thing is so insane. I know how many people don't do that. But anyway, let me ask. So the first one I want to ask is about COVID, and what do you think your impact? What do you think what has the impact of COVID been on your life?